Hi guys, welcome back. We are going to switch gears a little bit since we have finished all of our main stories and we are going to be looking at our sleuth. So sleuth is all about reading closely and really using that text evidence to be able to answer questions. So let's jump right in with our learning intentions. Today we are learning to read closely so that we can have a deep understanding of what we read. We know we're successful when we can monitor our comprehension while reading, so that's making sure that you are understanding what you're reading. Use text evidence to answer questions, and then also we want to be able to ask questions about the text, because if you're understanding what you're reading, then you should be able to ask some questions about it in order to say like, how could I learn more? We're going to read this text called Nosing Around. It says, our noses are a treat for our senses. They inhale the delicious smells of baking cookies and sizzling bacon. They also alert us to danger, such as toast burning in a toaster. Animals also use their noses to smell. However, some animals are capable of using their noses in quite different ways. Have you ever wondered why some animals sport odd-shaped noses? Elephants have a very familiar odd-shaped nose. An elephant's nose, or trunk, is used for touching, tasting, breathing, and drinking. Did you know that an elephant can use its nose to keep cool in the blazing hot sun? The elephant also uses its nose to reach for food that is inaccessible otherwise. You would think by its name that the elephant-nosed fish has something special or fascinating about its nose. Indeed, an elephant-nosed fish is much smaller than a large elephant. However, its nose is pretty prominent. Elephant-nosed fish can be found in the muddy waters in Africa. This fish actually uses its long nose to seek food in the thick, sticky mud. The hammerhead shark also uses its nose to search for food, too, but in this case, it's prey. On the menu for this shark's favorite meal is stingrays. A hammerhead maneuvers its snout to dig stingrays out of their hiding places in the sand. So much for getting buried in the sand to avoid capture. Then there's a star-nosed mole. This animal has one strange nose. Its nose is covered with 22 tentacles. Look at that picture, y'all. See it? And those tentacles do not have sting cells on them like those of jellyfish. Still, they help the mole to find food quickly. Insects and worms make favorite main courses for moles. Nosing around could not be more important when it comes to finding those delights. What all of these animals have in common is extensions that sit somewhere on or near their face. How they use their noses may seem funny to humans, but it is the difference between death and survival in the wild. So all of these animals have strange noses. So we're going to start and think, using our text evidence, what animals are being described in our text here? Stop and think, what animals did they talk about? Try and write them all down. Pause the video, write it down. I'm serious, y'all. All right, guys, did you say elephant? Yeah? Okay, let's try another. What about the elephant-nosed fish? Yeah? Let's find these in the text. So yeah, right here in this third paragraph, it talks about the elephants and how they have their trunks. And then in the next paragraph, they talk about that elephant-nosed fish and how they have that kind of weird trunk too. Let's try another one. What else can we find? Ooh, I know. All right, guys, did you come up with hammerhead shark? Yeah, so it told us about the hammerhead shark and how it uses its nose to find the stingray, its prey. And lastly, we have the star-nosed mole. So it told us that star-nosed mole has all those tentacles on its nose to help it find its prey or its food. So what questions might you have about these animals? Remember, that's one of our success criteria, is to be able to ask questions about our text. So maybe you're thinking, well, what other animals have interesting shaped nose? Like, what about an anteater? We didn't talk about those. Or maybe you say, why does the star-nosed mole have those tentacles? Why are there 22 of them? What questions do you have? Stop and think. And then you could always use the internet and do a little research to learn more about that. Next, we're going to talk about text structure. And remember that text structure is the way that the author organizes the text. The common text structures that we talk about are descriptive, sequence or chronological, problem and solution, cause and effect, and compare and contrast. So we need to figure out which of those text structures this article uses. So let's go back and look. Nosing around. Our noses are a treat for our senses. They inhale the delicious smells of baking cookies and sizzling bacon. They also alert us to danger, such as toast burning in a toaster. I'm not hearing any problems yet, so maybe it's not problem and solution. Let's keep going. Animals also use their noses to smell. However, some animals are capable of using their noses in quite different ways. Have you ever wondered why some animals sport odd-shaped noses? So it's kind of asking me a question here. So I'm thinking, it's not really giving me a problem. So I'm thinking probably not problem and solution. Elephants have a very familiar odd-shaped nose. An elephant's nose or trunk is used for touching, tasting, breathing, and drinking. Did you know that an elephant can use its nose to keep cool in the blazing hot sun? The elephant also uses its nose to reach for food that is inaccessible otherwise. I'm noticing that it's giving me a lot of details about elephants and their noses or trunks. So I'm kind of thinking that maybe this could be description, but let's keep going. You would think by its name that the elephant nose fish has something special or fascinating about its nose. Indeed, an elephant nose fish is much smaller than a large elephant. However, its nose is pretty prominent. Elephant nose fish can be found in the muddy waters of Africa. This fish actually uses its long nose to seek food in the thick and sticky mud. So now they're telling me about the elephant nose fish, and they kind of tell me how they're the same as the elephant. They both have the nose, and how they're different. Could this be compare and contrast? Are they comparing two different things? The hammerhead shark uses its nose to search for food, but in this case, it's prey. On the menu for the shark's favorite meal, stingrays. A hammerhead maneuvers its snout in to dig stingrays out of their hiding places in the sand. So much for getting buried in the sand to avoid capture. Well, now they introduced another animal, so maybe they're not just talking about two animals, and they're telling me about the hammerhead shark's nose. And then there's also the star-nosed mole. This animal has one strange nose. Its nose is covered with 22 tentacles. These tentacles do not have sting cells on them like those of the jellyfish. Still, they help the mole to find food quickly. So again, it's telling me more about the noses. So I'm really thinking that this is descriptive because it's giving me lots of details about animals' noses. So I'm thinking about those text structures. It's describing. It's not telling me anything in order. It's not sequence. It's not telling me first, next, then last. It's not problem and solution because there's no problem. It's not cause and effect. It's not telling me what happened and why. And it's not compare and contrast because it's not telling me how two things are the same and different. It told me about lots of different animals, but it's really focusing on describing their nose and what they use their nose for. So I'm going to go ahead and say that this is descriptive. And a great way to organize or think about a descriptive text is to use this web organizer. So in the center, I have the animal noses because it's really describing all about animal noses. And in the outside circles, I can put details about the noses. For example, I could say that elephant noses are used for many things, right? Or maybe I could say the elephant nose fish uses its nose to find food in the mud. So again, what did they use that nose for? They're describing that. Or I could say that the hammerhead shark uses its nose to hunt for stingrays. Again, because that's a detail that they gave me about the elephant's noses, how they're describing the noses. And then lastly, it says the star-nosed mole's nose is covered with 22 tentacles. That's crazy to me. So again, all of these are describing animal noses. It's giving me more details about animal noses. That's how I know that this text is a descriptive structure. So we're back to our learning intentions. Today we were learning to read closely so that we could have a deep understanding of what we read. We know we're successful when we can monitor our comprehension while reading. Did you check to see if you were understanding while you were reading or listening? I hope so. Check. Did you use text evidence to answer questions? Again, we went through a couple questions of like what animals were being discussed. And then also if you were answering any of your own questions, could you go back in the text and find those answers? Check. And then ask questions about the text. Did you come up with some ideas, some questions that you could ask? I hope so. All right, check. And for your reading response, you need to answer which of these animals has the most interesting nose. Support your opinion with details from the text. So you get to form your opinion. Which one do you think has the most interesting nose? So you can use details from the text, or if you want to research some more information about that animal's nose, feel free, go right ahead. All right, guys, that is all for today. I hope you have a wonderful day. You have almost made it through the year. Keep doing your best, and I will see you guys later. Bye.